We will not copyright or trademark that. We do not have the rights to this at all. Please do not sue us. Thank you.
Welcome back to These Unprecedented Gauge, your go-to podcast for all things queer, where we unpack the nuances of LGBTQ plus life in these unprecedented times.
Pole vaulting episode.
Look at how many unread emails I have in my Gmail.
I don't want to see it.
I don't even use it. 43,000.
43,000 emails.
That gives me
unread
that
emails.
gives me a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, that gives me anxiety like crazy. I just can't do that.
I have work emails where they're unread, but
I
I've you can silence the
I
bubble,
should, but I don't.
after certain hours. So from 5 p.m. until 6 a.m., there's no notifications.
Yeah, but then your email, you go from 6 at 5 o'clock, and then you wake up at 9 a.m. and you're like,
40.
Why is
yeah,
there...
no. It doesn't even say the number. It just deletes the red bubble. So my email for work, it will just be really pristine and clean, and then you're like, oh my god, wow, and then you wake up and it's 6 a.m. and it's 34 emails, and you're like, fuck. And then that Teams, it's 30 messages, and you're like, this is my
You wanna know
life.
something? It's season 5.
And you're not getting any emails, bitch.
That was our notification. Ding! Our beautiful benefactor's badge. With that little ding.
Wait, what is that from? The benefactor's badge. Because you said that, but I don't know what that's from.
Oh, it's for the latest RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 9.
Girl, I am so behind.
Oh,
because
yeah.
there's
They used to do in the UK, they would do what is it called there?
the repeater badge.
Yeah, repeater badge.
Oh, wait, I thought the All-Stars is done.
It is done. It's done now, yeah.
Because there's All-Stars, there was All-Stars, but then there's Canada versus the world, but then there's Global All-Stars.
Correct.
I can't keep up.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Which I'm okay with, but
the machine just keeps on churning.
I think that I still didn't finish the last regular season of Drag Race with who, I don't even remember who won. With Saphira.
So
No, she didn't
become
win.
too much, though.
What's that?
Yeah, it's becoming a little much now.
I can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
And I like Drag Race, but I think I'll watch the global one.
Yeah,
that seems fun.
We're watching Canada versus the world, so
I don't even know who's in it. No clue.
okay. Well, I'm Paul,
And I'm Joe.
and we're These Unprecedented Gays.
We are them. Hi, it's been a minute.
It is fantastic season 5. We are back.
Come on.
Again.
Alliterate. Fantastic. Wait. Isn't that a superhero? No, that's Fantastic
Fantastic
Four.
Four.
You're going to pull a muscle trying to make that work.
I was trying. It wasn't working.
Does that mean it's been 5 years since COVID came?
No.
It will be in February.
Yeah, wow.
Almost 5 years. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Something smells
You
sweet.
Don't
Am I
even think
having
about
stroke?
it.
It's the meringues.
Oh, I was like, I smell something really miraculous. I was like, this could be like a stroke. What if I had a stroke on air?
Toast.
Can you imagine?
That would be terrible.
How did you know you were having a stroke? I was just recording a podcast. And they had to go through it. My face is just half drooped. I would power through.
That's Bell's palsy.
All right. So before we get into it, because we have our segment that we introduced last season towards the last couple of episodes and stuff, but I don't know if we should do it because for me, my did she eat is what the episode is going to be about.
All about, yeah.
And
we can reveal the eating status.
I mean, it's we're going to talk about Kamala Harris, and I'm like, did she eat?
Girl, she
yes.
fucking devoured.
Yeah, she devoured. She left no crumbs.
Girl,
there's nothing left.
Coconut Queen. Yes, brat summer, everything. I have been coconut pilled. You are whatever you are in the context of what is around you.
We are unbothered.
Yes. I love it.
Skibbity, I find that sus.
Oh my god. Oh. No.
I'm working on a Duolingo with speaking millennial.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that would work. I don't know. Someone sent me a video and it was kids talking about things, and I was like, I feel like an alien because these kids, I feel like I'm watching, or no, I feel like they're aliens because it's they're so different. I'm not that I'm out of the loop, but not that out of the loop. But I'm just I'm so what?
Ohio.
Oh my god, thanks, call me Drew Carey. No, I want to be Mimi. Wasn't she the really like obnoxious one with the eyeshadow?
Yeah.
I loved her.
That's definitely you.
I do love those. There's a couple of like teachers, so adults, but they're around kids all the time, so they know all the lingo.
Oh, the hot
and
guy
they
that's
just
on Instagram?
start talking.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they're so funny because they're like, I don't understand a word you're saying. Right
No.
now.
No, and there were a couple, like, I don't know if it's a trend or something. I saw on Instagram where it was like teachers read like things that the students said to them, and it's very funny. I can't remember any of it, but I'll try and remember it.
Future episode.
So there you go. Future
Yes.
episode.
So,
All right.
so did she eat? We'll talk about it.
Yes. We had a summer. The summer.
We
We had a summer. The good thing is, we live in San Diego, so we weren't affected by like the heat waves.
Okay, I was actually going to say it's been a little muggy.
Yeah.
A little wet in the
It's
air.
also still summer.
It's still summer.
Summer. That is so last season.
I'm staying late because I'm Indian summer.
Wait, what's Indian summer?
In the Northeast, you get like a surge of heat at the end of September, early October that can be like a second summer, so they call it Indian summer.
Oh, that's like we get a surge of heat then too.
Or in our, political correctnance, it's
From
Native American
Native American summer. Okay,
From my ass.
you get your ass summer.
So anyway, so how has your summer been so far, Joe?
Well, it has been uneventful, but there was, I think, we did a little travel. We went to Utah, and then I had a couple work trips, which are not fun.
So you went camping, but it wasn't.
No, we didn't go camping. We went to a fucking mansion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So-
what we talked about.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
And then,
But Nick was away. Like we haven't seen you guys in weeks.
no, well, Nick can talk about his flight fiascos because I didn't really have much happening in the past months.
Because Nick got stuck with the
Nick,
whole.
he wins the Lucky Traveler Award.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Because
he
you
got
guys-
cybersecurity.
Right, because when a couple of weeks ago,
Was
or
it
a month or so
CrowdForce?
ago,
CrowdStrike?
CrowdStrike.
It was CrowdStrike got hacked, which some airlines use for whatever purposes CrowdStrike
It was
is
an
used
update.
for.
They pushed out an update,
And it was a singular update. It was like an update for one thing.
Yeah.
one thing to all Microsoft, all of their Microsoft
Everything.
using place. So anybody that was using Microsoft on CrowdStrike went down.
That's hospitals,
Everything.
restaurants, any kind of business. but
Everything.
Didn't
Didn't impact my fucking job.
predominantly airlines, especially Delta. Delta
Yeah.
was like the hardest, not necessarily the hardest hit, but had the worst time getting back on track.
Oh,
Nick can tell you about
and
that.
and
yeah.
so
Totally relive
Nick,
that
tell
time.
the listeners what
give
happened
you
to you.
the 14-second version.
Give me the elevator pitch.
Basically, I was flying home from Fort Lauderdale and heard news this was happening. I got to Atlanta, and then by that time, everything had been shut down, and it looked like the end of the world because all of the screens were blue screens of death all over the airport. And it took me about a week to get home. Luckily, I have a sister in the South, so she came and picked me up, and I hung out with her for a while. But
And the worst part is Atlanta, which is like the
Yeah.
busiest airport in the world.
Yeah,
by the
in
time
the
I
world.
got-
Delta, which
yeah.
is the busiest
Right.
airline in Atlanta.
And by the time I'd gotten to Atlanta, because my flight was delayed to Fort Lauderdale, I got there and there's just like encampments, like families setting up places for their family to, because a lot of times when airlines are delayed, right, they send their people to hotels. Mm-hmm. All of those were sold out because there's so many people were
out of there,
Put out.
whatever. Yeah.
So it was the worst travel experience I've ever had in my life, but now I feel like I can handle anything. It took a while because I ended up like trying to get home again. I thought that it was done, but then I got stuck in Detroit.
And then where did you do at Detroit?
Oh, and then I slept at a Howard Johnson, and I thought I was going to die.
Oh my god, a Hojo?
It was
a
a
Hojo
Hojo.
in Detroit.
It was a Hojo in Detroit. I've never I didn't sleep because I was just in the bed. It just was like the lights weren't. None of the lights worked.
Skibbity, that's sus.
And so I got there late too. I got there late, and so I just sat and listened to my book on tape for a while. Molly Shannon, great book by the way. And then it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, well, the airport lounge opens at 4 a.m.
The airport lounge.
So I just woke up and they had a shower there.
Oh, I love the shower in the airport lounge.
So, and because the shower at the hotel was
Not good.
not good.
Wait, so you took an
Shower
airport
there,
shower?
Even if you just took a shower. 'Cause
So,
it's free.
I-
Wait, you didn't tell me. How was the airport shower?
It was so nice. You had to put your name in a little reservation.
Yes.
Because those are very nice.
Yeah.
From what I've
so
seen.
nice.
It was so
when did you
nice.
shower at the airport,
So
Paul?
when we went to Australia, we since we upgraded, we got access to the lounge in LA.
Okay.
And so
Tom Bradley.
and we're walking around, and I'm like, oh, they have showers, and then he's like, okay, and I'm like,
Didn't you just shower?
Wait, yeah, because did you just do it to do it?
yes,
I would do the same thing.
and it was so nice.
No, it was really. This is one of the nicer Delta lounges I've ever been in.
After being in the Hojo, you're like, this is nice.
I'll just sleep in this. Well, I ended up over the course of that getting home. I think I spent probably 36 hours total in the Delta lounge.
Oh,
So
I was
when
drunk the whole time.
When all that stuff happened,
I was clean.
like, how much did you have to pay out of pocket? Like more than you expected to, like, or did they cover the return flights?
They ended up. So here's the. I think that everybody around me was having a lot more issues than me. I think because when I was flying out there, I upgraded my flight to Comfort Plus, just because I was like, oh, it's only $80, and so I upgraded. And then flying home, it was like another $80. So I had previously upgraded. Because of that, I think that when I went up to the line to get my flight rebooked, I was in a different tier of like rebooking, and so they were because a lot of people ended up waiting for days
you were
and days and
prioritized
days.
higher.
Yeah, and then on my way home, I got upgraded to first class.
That was the
I don't-
best $80 you ever spent.
Yeah, best $80. And here's the best part: is finally got home, and then I got an email from Delta that was like, "We're so sorry about your experience. Here's 40,000 Delta points." And then they refunded all of the extra fees I paid for my Comfort Plus.
Oh,
for
nice.
So I ended up getting money back, and I got reimbursed for my experience at Hojo, and the Uber, and some food stuff.
Hey,
that
all right.
great.
So Delta has said that they're going to lose $500 million from this out because they're also now giving employees two paid for you can go in and rather than flying standby, they're going to let them do confirmed seats to anywhere Delta flies.
Good
And
for
you know
them.
what? Their employees deserve
They're-
that because I'm sure they had
Watching,
a
just
miserable.
watching. I did, as a stressed, frustrated flyer, I'm tired. But I don't have any kids. So I'm trying my best to be nice to these people because they're getting through the ringer, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
not their
the wrath
fault.
of God.
And
these
let me
poor
tell you-
people.
Oh my god, it was terrible, and
Let
the
me-
lines wrapped. They were miles.
Yeah, in Atlanta,
It just-
everything can line up, and it just take forever
Right,
and
yeah.
go on forever.
on a good day.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
a good day when
On a good
everything
day.
is working properly. So I will tell everybody a little secret. Here's a little life hack for everybody out there. If something goes wrong, don't get mad at the people who work there. Like, it's not their fault. You think they wanted that to happen?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Well, and
Honestly,
then
they
when you
can't
offer
change it.
kindness, yeah, because these workers are getting pummeled by
Yeah.
rude human beings,
Yeah.
and it's like they can't do anything.
Right. And
Nothing.
You want to get helped faster? You know how you do that?
Be nice.
Is you be nice.
Which isn't it sad how being a good person gets you ahead in these situations when that should be the
Well,
standard?
and also, exactly. It's like, isn't it weird that being a nice person, you have to be told to do that instead
Yep.
of just being something you know to do?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think that because I was being nice to this lady when I got to Atlanta, when I got to Detroit and got canceled, the lady she just had this long line, and I'm like, man, what a day, right? I cannot imagine what you guys have been going through, and we just worked through it, and then she was the one that she's like, okay, I've got you actually booked for tomorrow, first class. And I was like, wait, this isn't what she's like. First class? I'm like,
see, I'm telling you,
Okay, thank
they
you
will
so
give
much.
it if they can. They'll give it to you
Yeah.
if you're nice to them.
Yeah.
Because if you come at me sideways, I'm like, I shut down and I'm like, you ain't getting
100%,
nothing.
yeah. They'll match your energy.
I'll say the Detroit airport. Have you guys ever been to that? It's nice.
It's very nice.
I've
It's
only-
actually really
Yeah,
nice.
it is.
I've
No,
only flown through
it is really nice, and it is like a million miles.
Yeah.
Did you get to walk by the piano lounge?
That's where I took the shower. Was in the Detroit Delta Lounge. It was so nice.
In Detroit.
Hashtag better than a Hojo's.
I thought I was going to die. I was talking to my friend Sarah about the experience, and she's like, "You made an amateur mistake. You should have taken one of the chairs in your
and
hotel, put it on there just for the extra safety." So I'm glad to be home.
Well, I know we were like getting updates on text, and we were like, "Oh, maybe we've lost Nick forever. He might just move to
I'm
Detroit."
just steak.
He lives in Florida now.
Yeah. Well, no, because this all happened during San Diego Pride.
Yeah.
So you missed out on that because you were
Missed
supposed
Pride.
to come back that weekend, and then I was with you guys on that Sunday for or was it
Right, yeah, we had
Sunday,
the
the pool pride,
over here.
whatever, and then you didn't get home until what, Tuesday?
Yeah.
But it was just like every update was my flight's delayed, and then on Tuesday I had to fly to Minneapolis, and we were like, well, hopefully you make it. I gotta go. And then my flight was getting delayed, and I was like, oh my God, please cancel my flight. I don't want to do this trip. And the flight cost of changing your ticket was like $2,000.
Oh gosh!
If I had to change my flight for the next day, I was like, I'm not gonna come for this.
I mean, they would have
business
changed. They would have covered it for you. But.
No, you think my company can cover
No,
that?
Delta would have.
Oh.
It was through that threshold of they would have changed.
$2,000?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Anyway,
Fly Southwest.
well, they're gonna be doing.
Remember the time I flew Southwest and got stuck because of I was in the airport when they got canceled too. That day that the computers went down.
So that goes.
Wait, what?
I go back way farther than that. In college, I was in Dallas for undergrad, and we were flying Braniff to come home for Christmas. And the day of my flight, the night before, they declared bankruptcy.
Oh my God.
Every flight got canceled out of Dallas, and so that was why I was really loyal for a long time to it was Piedmont Airlines, which eventually
it's
got
so funny.
part of United. It's been merged into United. But
Yeah, they
Piedmont,
all
honored my ticket from Braniff and got me out the next day.
Good.
It was the best thing.
That's
but I was I worked in the computer center, so they had one of those phones with the multiple lines. So I just dial, get a busy, hit the next line, dial, get a busy, hit the next line.
Oh my
But
God.
it was just the only way you could get through. Because hundreds of people were, or thousands of people were calling.
I would have just left. I would have been like, thanks, I'll see you later.
And we're watching The Amazing Race, so it's really weird to see this in 2000,
Yeah,
1999,
right.
2000, where they would go to an airport, walk up to an information and go, I need the quickest flight to so-and-so.
Right.
And somebody would just go on one computer
And be like,
and tell you exactly where to go, and they
Right.
could even give you the ticket right there. And I'm like, what?
Not anymore. What's
Does
your Southwest thing?
It was during the holiday when they had the meltdown, and I was going to Utah, and then I ended up coming home with Steve in the car because
Oh, that's right.
That's right. You at least had another way to get
I had
home.
to wait another way to get home, but they had their own technology.
Oh, okay.
I flirted,
That's right.
Flirt.
You've
I
gotten
flew during that too.
It's
Maybe
Nick.
don't fly.
It's Nick.
And you're going- and you're
He's
going
the
to London
problem
with him.
child.
We're going to London.
Yeah. I was like, we booked our flights yesterday, and he's like, which flights? He's like, oh, I want to make sure I booked the right flight. I was like, if you didn't, sorry.
Joe,
Okay.
you may see Iceland after all.
But did you guys? Are you guys just doing economy, or are you doing
Economy Plus.
Oh yeah.
Well, so here's the thing. So Nick did his points, and so I have my Capital One Venture card, and
With
you
those
get
40,000 points.
Well,
it was
held on to
100
this, yeah.
Oh.
because we did the Comfort Plus with Delta, but it was basically $1,000, and I had a $300 travel credit because you get it annually through Capital One.
Yeah.
And then you get another $100 or something. So you basically get paid $5 to have the credit card, whatever. So it was $700 for Comfort Plus. I was like, okay, I'll do that. Yeah. So we booked our flights.
Oh yay for London!
We're going to be gone for a while, the 1st to the 14th.
Oh god.
Well, I have to take a train to LA for a work thing.
I know this
And
man.
Joe's picking me up from LA, and then we'll drive to San Francisco.
wow.
I was like,
And
why? Why are you doing that?
I have to. I want to.
He doesn't have to.
And you
want
guys have
to.
a couple of months till this happens.
2
October.
Yeah.
August, September, October.
Wow.
In 2 months.
Wow.
Less than 2
Exciting,
months.
though. Do you have what you're going to do there all planned out?
Yeah.
Nick's brother has everything planned, and I love it. I'm like, tell me where to go, where to be. All I want to do is see the West.
Have some fun.
Yeah, until the sun comes up in West Abbey
Boulevard.
No, I'm making it Londonese.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want good chicken tikka masala because that's the thing, and then I want to see a musical on the West End,
That'd be great.
and that's it.
You should go see 6.
And then we'll do both.
Express.
And then wait,
No.
what is Starlight Express?
It's Andrew Lloyd Webber.
The one about the train on roller skates.
Wait, when is this confirmed?
The
No, it's the one
finale
I
on
wanna
a
see,
recording.
but-
It was amazing.
I wanted to see Xanadu. What's that
Xanadu.
one? Yeah, isn't that on roller
No,
skates
that's
too?
but that's not playing there. This is Starlight Express.
I thought it
playing.
is playing there.
Starlight Express was one of those.
Is it
if you ever
weird?
get to see a documentary? There's a documentary on the making of it, and like all of this cast didn't know how to roller skate.
No.
And they were like putting their lives at risk every night. It was great.
Yeah.
Great documentary.
It's amazing. Like
I'd see that. I
I-
love a good theatrics.
You love a good Andrew Lloyd Webber show.
yes.
Phantom.
I've only seen one.
You know,
Oh.
speaking of a good show, how was the chorus production this weekend?
We'll talk offline.
Okay, so all right, so let's get into mouth to mouth. Mouth to mouth resuscitation. Okay, Joe, what are you obsessed with? What's giving you life? What's giving you breath?
Well, so I started watching Scandal on
Okay.
Hulu, and it's very How to Get Away with Murder,
Well, Scandal came first, and then How to Get Away with Murder
which
came
I did.
second.
Okay, when I was in Minnesota, my boss was like, "Oh, you should watch Scandal," and I was like, "Whatever." And so like I started it, and I was like, "Oh, it's actually really good." But like I didn't realize I was like, "Oh, that came out in like 2006." No, it was like 2014, and I was like, "Oh, that was a decade ago."
Yeah.
So, but I'm on season 2, and I'm like, I am binging the shit out of it because I love how like you'll watch the show, like the episode gets through, and you're like, ooh, I know what's gonna happen, and then it's like the zinger, and
Yeah.
it's not not at all what you thought it was gonna be.
Because it's a scandal.
Yeah, and it's Shonda, and I love it. So that, and then I got like I went to get Costco. Oh my god, my brain. I got like a vacuum sealer, like food storage like kit from Costco, and it like actually works really well. So I'm living for that because now our food will last 5 times longer.
Oh, nice.
Nick is not impressed. I was like,
brand.
I texted him and I was like, do you have a Costco account? Because it was an online only deal, and I somehow had my dad's account linked to like my email address.
Oh, okay.
And I called him. I was like, "Is this your Costco number?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was
What's
like,
his credit card linked to?
"No." And he
Oh,
was
dang.
like,
Dang it.
He was like, well, I don't have an online account." And I was like, "You never online shop at Costco?" He's like, "No, I just go in."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, well, I stole your online account, so you can't have one." But I got this thing because it was like $90, and then MSRP was like $180, and I was like, "I love it. I love a deal." So I'll let you know how the
Okay.
freshness is.
Let me know.
Yes. What are you obsessed with?
Oh, I know we talked about this, especially with Dr. Carlton on and stuff, because
Fisting?
I am
Not obsessed with fisting.
Yeah, I am obsessed with I'm gonna call it lesbian pop right now.
L-pop?
So like Chappell Roan,
love her so much.
Charlie XCX.
Is she a lesbian?
I mean, no, but I think she's queer baiting, which I'm okay with because she's amazing. Because her new single, "Guess," with Billie Eilish is
Billie Eilish is a lesbian.
Yes,
Okay.
and her new album is really good.
She
like
has a new album.
Lunch and everything is it's fantastic. Also, Remy Wolf, Renee Rapp.
You were saying
all of
words.
these, all of these artists, I'm like really into right now, and I'm like,
It's a good summer for music.
it really is. And like, if you didn't see it, you should look up Chappell Roan at Lollapalooza that just happened. She had the largest audience.
You sent that to me.
And she had. This was like the largest audience that Lollapalooza's ever had,
Yeah.
and it was a daytime set.
Yeah.
That never happens.
It also looked
She's
like a
so
COVID super spreading event.
Yeah, it did.
I learned about her because of this podcast.
Yep. And do you love her music?
I love her so much.
I mean, I'm really into Red Wine Supernova.
Yeah.
That's like my
a great
jam.
song.
I'm
What's the
like-
pink one?
Pink Pony Club?
Okay, so they did a matchup with Kamala Harris, Coconut, and they put coconut instead of pink pony something. It's like pink pony coconut, and they. Oh, I'm also living for all the Kamala like mashup songs,
yeah.
which are not good, but I love them.
So that's what I'm living for right now. I just like I have. Okay, so Nick, if you like that, you'll
Send me
love my
more.
little playlist called Funky Pop.
Oh.
Send it.
So
Send me the
I will send it to
Spotify.
you. It's really good.
I'm waiting for your Spotify day list to be some type of like lesbian.
I haven't done that.
You know, like all of the music is lesbian.
Exactly.
That'd be great.
Yeah, like Tegan and Sarah, all those.
Indigo
What's my
Girls.
day list?
Well, yeah, okay.
I love me some Indigo Girls.
Okay, boomer.
I'm with you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, boomer. All right, so
I think also obsession is like democracy.
that's a nice segue.
Yes.
Because we are here to talk, because we took our name, These Unprecedented Gays, from, it's a play on, when COVID happened, it was like every day was like these unprecedented days and things were happening and blah, 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 that would never happen before.
Girl.
And I feel like right now we're back to that.
Isn't it
again.
fun? It's
is
kind
a
of
lot-
invigorating.
Well, it's like, okay, you think 2 weeks ago, maybe, or like just a little over 2 weeks ago,
It was bleak, girl.
It was bleak.
It was.
Like, let's just be
You
real.
and Molly, you in danger, girl.
Okay,
we were Molly.
Trump was like out there.
Supreme Court just gave him immunity. He's
Supreme-
just done.
He was on a high, and like everything was Trump, and there is no like right now it's all Kamala Harris.
Right. And so what they call organic news, he was everywhere.
Yeah.
So, and he loves that shit. Yeah. So it's like, and then he announced that JD Vance.
JD Vance? You mean the couch fucker?
You know what's so funny is a small little, Twitter account of like 1,700 followers started that rumor saying it was like written in his book and all this stuff. And now it's just like blown up.
I love it.
And
Well,
like,
even
if
the
that doesn't
Wikipedia-
tell you about misinformation,
Oh, totally.
Oh, I don't
in
care.
this day
But
and age,
it also,
like-
what I love that's happening right now is like the Democratic Party is playing dirty. They're like actually going, not like
They're
dirty,
not
but
dirty.
like
Yeah.
they're getting petty.
But yeah, exactly.
They're
petty.
getting like, oh, we're gonna give you the zingers, and we're gonna call you weird, and we're gonna say you're gross.
Well, and it's like I told Nick, I was like, the Republican Party likes to mudsling. We're still putting on our rain boots.
What's mudslinging?
like just
when you say bad things about people, like when Trump will go online and say Kamala's
Just
a crook
spew,
and
yeah.
Biden is a senior and shouldn't be,
right. And so that was his whole thing. He was writing on the fact that
He's old.
Biden's old, he's senile, he doesn't know what he's going to do, blah, blah, blah. And then it came out that
And then Biden was like, deuces, y'all.
you hear that people are like telling Biden that you should drop out. Like people in the Democratic Party are like, look, we're going to lose if you stay. You need to get out. And then he's like, no, I'm not leaving unless something in my health happens or whatever. I'm not leaving. And then all of a sudden
Deuces, y'all.
he says
He got COVID.
He got COVID and he's like,
I'm sick.
I'm out. So
I have a conspiracy theory.
endorsing Kamala. What's your conspiracy
Well,
theory?
this all happened too perfectly because Biden...
He's been watching Scandal, okay?
No, this was pre-scandal because Biden dropped out after the nomination, the Republican conference thing when Trump picked JD Vance. Trump can't unpick JD Vance. So they built an entire campaign around beating Biden, and then Biden was like, "Oh no, I'm leaving."
Well, and Trump picked his mirror.
Right.
There's no difference.
Correct.
between him and Vance.
And I was like, if you're going to tell me that Nancy Pelosi didn't orchestrate this whole thing,
Girl,
She went on CBS.
girl she's a mastermind of lies.
I know.
She's a master.
I was like, this is all too perfect because he dropped out and then the momentum, it was like a catapult.
Well, but like, here's the thing. Right before Biden dropped out was the assassination attempt on Trump.
Yes.
So that got him even more goodwill.
Yeah,
People were like, oh, he's a hero. He
Uh-huh.
survived this, blah, blah, blah. And then I think that was a catalyst for Biden to say, okay, you know what? You're right.
Now is the time.
Now's the time because he's in the news cycle organically and he's loving it.
Yep.
And then they come in, Biden drops out, Kamala's on, and look where all the news went.
They took his like spotlight immediately off of him.
And he
They
hates
changed
that.
the narrative. They're calling them weird, and I forget the other things. And it is a refreshing like turn of events where it's this like momentum, and I feel like hope is reinstored.
Well, it's not only that, but like you see, because like not only did Kamala get endorsed, but right after that, like immediately within the same day, almost I think, Charlie XCX tweets out that Kamala is brat.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, I don't understand this. I don't understand this. But it's like that.
She got the youth.
Reinvigorated the youth into getting involved. And it's like, and people talk about like celebrities don't have any place in politics. But at 2024, yes, they do.
Yeah.
Voter apathy was our biggest enemy. And one of the biggest things that changed with Kamala coming into the race is people aren't apathetic anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Because it's a different, like, now you have
now
two,
it's not a not Trump vote.
Yeah,
now
it's just two
for somebody.
Two plain old people. Like, these are just like regular people that like had regular beginnings against Trump, who is a royalist almost.
But I'm like, also, it's no longer just an old white guy.
Yeah, now it's a person of color. She is black and Indian.
Right.
Well, not according to Trump, but
she's one or the other.
We'll unwrap that.
But like, I think it was like the amazing part is like when you ignite your party. She got how much money was the like 80 million or something?
It was like within the first 24 hours, she had raised $200 and something million.
Yeah, she's at like $310 million now, and it's like that's way more than Trump has.
Well, and she's got people interested in doing stuff for her.
Yeah.
So there's all these little niche groups that are coming up for Kamala.
Yeah.
So like you had the white dudes for Kamala who did the Zoom
There was
call.
over 100,000 men.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were like, Fox News just blew a fucking gasket over this. Like, well, if anybody else called it like, what if it was like blacks for Trumps or something? Like, there's that. There is that.
There already is
there
that,
is
yeah.
that. So you can't use that excuse.
Yeah.
But the reason why I think they called it that was because they needed people to see this specific group is not just Trumpers.
Yeah.
That there are white guys out there who want to see change and want to vote for somebody else. And that was great. And I was like, she took that momentum, and I don't know if whatever twink is running her PR campaign.
Yeah, you got to think about the like. They changed the campaign from Biden to Kamala in an instant, and the flexibility of that group, that is admirable.
She has a full female
for real
marketing media team. From
good for her.
There is one non-binary twink on there who is one of the girls,
and their name is like Chad or like Gareth.
Or Madison.
It's your friend Madison.
Totally doing it.
But it's true, and it's like, and they knew exactly what to jump on. So like, as soon as Charlie did that, they changed to the neon green with that brat font, and it got like, and Charlie XTX is what she was doing, like, because that got her into the zeitgeist.
100%.
I mean, when Fox News and The View and everybody are talking about like, oh, what is brat? I don't know what brat is. Blah, blah,
I
blah,
still
blah.
don't know what brat is, girl. But I have been brat queen. I am brat coconut queen, Kamala realness.
But then, like, she has Beyonce let her use Freedom for her ad.
Which was every decision that has been made for Kamala's campaign has been strategically successful, and it is right.
And it's like they know exactly where to hit it to make.
And they're doing a great job.
Well, and they're jumping on all the mistakes that Trump is making and JD Vance is making, and they love it. Like, like you said, they're calling them weird, and they like, I don't understand them. They're just weird. They're kooky. It's like, I don't, and it's like, but the other thing is they have their talking points down, and everybody is on the same page because like whenever they're on anything and then somebody calls her the border czar or talks about the border, they have already queued up.
Right.
Like, nope, Trump killed that deal. There was a bipartisan deal on the floor that the Republicans made. Yep. And you guys killed it because Trump said so because he wanted that. Mm-hmm. He wanted to have that so he could run on that. Mm-hmm. And like, so don't you can't call her that. You know?
And all of her, like her first video that came out where she's like, Trump is a convicted felon. I've prosecuted people like him. Trump had a for-profit college. I shut for-profit colleges down. Like everything, it was like, I am not a convictor. What are they called?
A prosecutor.
Prosecutor. Like, girl, you are. Like, get it? And he's like, he has no chance. And the debate, he backed out of the debate. There's going to be no debate because he's like, no.
Well, because they're saying that the reason why they're backing out is because that debate was booked with Biden, and that has changed, and they don't want to like go to that and then Biden decides, oh, I'm actually not dropping out and I want to get back in. I'm like, that is not going to happen.
Also, like, you got to pivot. Like, if you want to show strength in your political campaign, you don't back away from that.
Well, and like, they started attacking not only her cultural background, but like her coming up through her law career, where they were saying, she slept her way to the top because she did sleep with a man who was, I guess, her boss or one of her superiors or whatever. But I'm like, I'm sorry. Did your boss not get prosecuted on 34 counts for paying off a porn star?
An adult entertainer.
They seem to forget that part.
Yeah. And I didn't know this, but Kamala HQ is on Truth Social.
Oh, no.
Really?
Yeah. They have an account with 288,000 people following them on Truth Social.
Stop it.
I was just like, but what?
That's like the mold. Like, think about how smart that is to get in and give that information.
Well, and they tell them, they're like, look, we're here for the converts. If you want to come over, we're here to talk to you and welcome you. Like, come on down. But and another thing that I love that she did is she took, when he was at a Pennsylvania or some other rally, they've been in Pennsylvania a lot.
It's a battleground state.
It's been a very big battleground
because they need to win it. It's like
this picture.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But like, he was talking about like, oh, she's a prosecutor and I'm a convicted felon. And then she used that and she put that on her ad, and then she's like, I am Kamala Harris,
and I approve this message. But like, everything is so good. It's so good. And then the Vice President Walz or whatever, like, that's been a good pick too, because he's like, oh, JD Vance, like he said, like, oh, if you want to get off the couch and debate me, like, they're doing such a good job.
But they're getting those digs in very slyly and very
intellectual almost.
Very intellectual, high intelligence kind of digs. And I appreciate that, because I think now people are tired of seeing the Democrats try to. You guys have got to stop taking the high road. We want to see some.
You're not an elite. They finally have two people that are actual real people.
We want to see this as Love Island,
and they're willing to be scrappy.
Yeah. Because Kamala Harris was just like a regular person and whatever, and then the Waltz guy is a regular guy.
But also, she is like, again, I don't know who is doing her PR and stuff like that, but if you can get Megan Thee Stallion to play at at one of your rallies, that's just your rally, not even your inauguration or anything, it's just like your rally, and then you get Offset from Migos.
I don't know who that is.
Not Offset, I'm sorry, it was one of the other guys from Migos, but like, he's a rapper.
Okay.
But you get like all these people, these huge celebrities that speak to like urban culture and what's going on right now, who are big. Like, this isn't Hulk Hogan or Kid Rock.
I know.
I think one of the kind of optical differences between the Republicans and the Democrats right now is the Republicans are speaking to big business and big donors. Yeah. And the Democrats are speaking to regular people.
Yeah. Which is very interesting, because we were just watching a Fox News interview with Representative Eric Swalwell. He went on a Fox News show to talk about it.
They were not happy about it.
And they were not happy with him because they were like...
Well, of course, he's a Democrat, right?
Right, he's a Democrat.
Extremely articulate.
Oh, he's cute.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I call him Swalwell.
Oh!
I'm hoping he can't make it over the pole vault.
Oh.
But anyway,
yeah, he is very well spoken.
Yeah, but then also they had who is the guy from Shark Tank, the bald-headed guy?
Mark Cuban?
Who?
Mark?
No, not Mark Cuban. He's the older
Mr. Wonderful.
Yes, Mr. Wonderful. Who is Mr. Wonderful?
Kevin O'Leary.
Kevin O'Leary. So Kevin O'Leary is a Trumper. He's a Republican. And so he went on Fox News, and Laura Ingraham was like, well, where is she getting all these like billionaires donating to her? And he's like, no, it's the regular person is donating. It's not big business. You need to. And Laura Ingraham was not happy.
Wait, who was saying that?
Kevin O'Leary was like.
Kevin O'Leary said that?
Kevin O'Leary said it to Laura Ingraham. He's like, no, they got small people. Like these
first
people,
time. Yeah, I think like most of the people were first time donors for her campaign.
66%.
Yeah,
which is
and
a
he
lot.
said that. He's like 66% of these people were first time donors. Like he had his numbers ready, and it's just like you think about that. Like you think about the hope and the joy and just the enthusiasm this injection has caused.
Oh yeah, I felt a shift because...
So look, think of it this way. We got 90 days, right, till the election.
97 days.
Roughly.
Or so.
And we had a week of the announcement of... their timing is impeccable because they're trying to continue this high, right? So we had a week of the announcement that Kamala was going to be the candidate. Now we have a week of Trump going to the black journalist.
That was so
thing,
bad.
Which was phenomenal for us.
For us, yes. Bad for him.
Then we have now this week of announcing the vice president.
Right.
And I think in 2 weeks we'll have the convention. You'll have the convention.
Right.
And then there'll be a debate, hopefully.
Well, it's set for September 10th.
Okay.
And whether or not Trump shows up or not, Kamala has already said she is planning on using that airtime.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
she
great.
will take that whole time. I was like, good for you, girl. Reclaim your time, girl.
I am speaking, Mr. Senator.
Well, and, and I'm like, I loved when Trump was at the black journalist convention, and he was like,
God.
Most of you are black, right?
It was so
Can we talk
uncomfortable.
about immigration again? Let's just talk about the invasion of foreigners coming into
Well, and like it started
taking
off.
black jobs.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, well, you didn't even welcome me. You weren't nice to me." And it's like, "I'm sorry, what? You're the guest, bitch."
But the funny thing is Harrison Faulkner, who is the Fox News reporter who was on the dais on the stage with Trump. She was one of the three.
As best she could.
And she was trying to help him as much as she could. Oh, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I can't really hear you down here. Yes, you can, bitch. Shut the fuck up. But then she was like on camera with Fox News, and it was a very tight shot, so you couldn't see everything else. And she was like, yeah, there were a lot of young people who came up to me and were like very happy that he was here and so excited and blah, blah. But a lot of young people. And I'm like, notice you've used the young people a couple of times. Like, you're trying to claim back some of that Kamala has taken from you.
Oh, yeah.
And like, JD Vance was just recently in Pittsburgh again,
He's still real bad.
Pennsylvania. Not only bad, but the fact that they used a banner as a backdrop that was supposed to say Kamala Chaos, and that's one of the things they're using. But they had a row of people standing in front of it, so all you saw was Kamala.
No.
Oh yes.
Look
And,
at
and all you see is Kamala. So it
That's
looks
so
like
hilarious.
he's there campaigning for Kamala Harris.
That is so bad.
But not only that, but if you look at previous
I love this.
like rallies of this, and you look behind him, it is white on white on white.
Yeah.
It was like somebody took mayonnaise and spread it on white bread.
Right.
And now they've tried to
Sprinkle in
diversify
people. Hit
the
actors.
ages.
There's only 17 people there. But
Right. But they're very diverse. And not only that, but nobody looks happy to be up on stage with him.
And JD Vance.
When you look at Chaos, Chaos looks like a little bit like Choice, so it's Kamala Choice.
Yeah, well, because JD Vance, he is not personable and doesn't know how to speak. And then you compare that with I don't know, his last name is Walz.
Tim Walz.
Like that
From
guy.
the windows.
He is elegant, and he already was like, JD Vance thinks that if you can't have a kid, that you're not worthy. He's like, my child was a child of IVF, and I named her Hope because she means hope to the world. And I'm just like, this guy.
Well, and not
Get it.
But like, okay, so let's talk about Walz for a second, because we all had our like ideas of who it was going to be between Shapiro.
I had no idea. I was hoping Buttigieg,
Okay, Buttigieg.
but I don't think
wasn't in the
America cannot handle a black female president and a gay vice president. We're not
also
ready
doesn't
yet.
bring-
It would
That
be
2028.
that Trump. If that happened, Trump's head would just blow up.
Sis, that tea was not. But like, this is a guy who spent 23 years in the
Navy?
military.
Yeah.
As Army. I think. And then he was a teacher.
For 20 years, yeah.
Yeah, and he was a coach.
Yeah.
He also started his Gay Street Alliance in the high school where he...
And because he was a football coach.
Because he was a football coach and noticed that gay students were getting bullied.
Yep.
And so
In
he
like
started that.
1995.
Yeah, it was like early.
He voted against the Defensive Marriage Act when he was in Congress.
Correct.
And he said that I served in this army and you need to change this and it will be like the best thing that you will do.
He's legalized weed in Minnesota.
Yeah.
He's he got free lunch
for kids.
For kids.
He codified
So he codified
abortion rights.
abortion laws.
He has also his state is a trans refuge state. So if
Right.
you're a family member or if your family is like persecuting you for being trans, you are legally protected in Minnesota, and they can't extradite.
Yeah.
And he's like, as the governor, I think he is.
Yeah.
He's like, I refuse to take subpoenas. He's like, they are protected here.
Well, and if he actually does get elected as vice president, the state of Minnesota then gets their first female indigenous governor, and I think it's like their first black assistant governor. I don't know what the assistant governor is.
Because he gets the name.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Because if he gets out of his post, does he elect the next person? Or
No,
like
it's the number 2 becomes the number 1.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an assistant governor?
I don't know what it's called.
It might be a deputy.
I think it's a deputy.
Deputy governor.
Vice governor. I had no idea. I guess that makes sense, like a succession line.
But like, you know, the thing they're gonna have, like, they're already having problems with like figuring out how to attack Kamala, because him going after her racially,
They have nothing.
Right, they
They
have
have
nothing, because like even their own people are saying we have to stop going after her as
And
a
the
woman
race card?
and the
Yeah.
race card.
Well, and
No,
their
but
record's squeaky clean.
She's just irrational. I mean, you got to think of all the things. She's not really black.
Yeah, that's all they have.
And she laughs funny.
Yeah, she laughs funny.
Which, I'm sorry, I love the laugh because it makes you relatable, and she's funky, but she's like,
she's like a nice blue cheese,
right, but they say like I think I saw a meme and it was like, wouldn't it be great if like your kooky aunt and your like fun uncle are the president and vice president? And I'm like, yes.
Okay, so they're gonna have a problem with Tim Walz as well, because he's a gun owner.
Well, bad. They're not going to have a problem. They're going to have a problem getting bad things on
Right,
him.
Yes.
because he is a gun owner. Mm-hmm. He's a
He
veteran.
hunts, he's very appealing to Midwesterner.
Absolutely.
Traditional.
Yes.
He's made of
traditional
cheese.
family.
Right, and he works for the kids.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like wearing. He's kind of like John Fetterman, but just better, because like
John Fetterman.
I'm not a huge fan of John Fetterman, but like I like the fact that he doesn't want to wear suits.
Yeah.
He'd rather be in like a t-shirt and jeans and out there talking. Mm-hmm. So he is somebody.
He's relatable.
Yeah, and he's like he is your uncle. He goes on, like, people are finding all of his tweets and all of his Instagram posts, and they're like these, like, you know, just normal stuff, like
When his
He,
dog
like-
got loose or something.
oh no, my favorite was like he was like, I was just in Napa Auto Parts, and
Oh yeah, for the part for the light.
the part for the
At
light,
Fort
my light
Edge.
was out. So this is the thing that you could go get and go into the store and ask for this, and then you
Like,
just you
okay,
can change
Dad.
it yourself. And I'm
He
like-
is so wholesome, and it's an amazing juxtaposition where you have this guy Waltz, where he's like friendly and like not, you don't even need to call him polished. He's just like relatable, and like what's JD Vance is saying that like Tim Waltz is like a San Francisco elitist, but it's like JD Vance lived in San Francisco for like years.
Well, not only that, but like J.D. Vance was to say he's from Appalachia and stuff. I'm like, no, your grandparents live in Appalachia.
Yeah.
The ones you used to
He
visit.
went to Yale, girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
I'm
like then and I love how they're like, oh, the track record, and it's like Kamala Harris's career is more than JD Vance and Trump's political career combined.
Oh yes, definitely. Even both of them,
Like 3 times.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
just the two
she's
of them
been
together.
in, like, she was an attorney general or whatever, I think.
She was a prosecutor. She was attorney general. She was in Congress,
on the Senate, and then a vice president.
Senate, yeah.
So like
And
at
wait,
least
she was the border czar.
right.
I love that. But I
But
also,
she could spin the border czar into something positive, where she's like, you're right, I'm not going to let people in who aren't supposed to be here, and we're going to reform this area so that we are doing it correctly.
They tried to pass that law and
But no,
Well, yeah.
and I think their
Congress shut it
talking
down.
points around it are so good. Like
Yeah.
the way the Democrats
Yeah.
respond to that,
Yeah.
because that's the only thing Trump has left.
Well,
It's
yeah.
the threat to the border.
and again, I love the fact that they have a unified message when it comes to certain
Yeah,
questions.
right.
They're like, no, this is what happened, and so everyone
Yep.
that I've seen who's talked about this has had the same message.
Yeah.
every single time.
And they're going after Trump too, because Trump's whole thing is like, your lives were better with my like presidency, and it's like Trump killed all of the Americans with COVID. He drove this into a recession, if you will. He like did all this crap. Inflation skyrocketed. Unemployment was horrible. And it's like, they're putting that in.
The only people who did well were the billionaires.
Right.
Well, and he's running on this Make America Great Again campaign platform. And it's
MAGOA. Make America Great Once Again. MAGOA.
Well, but like,
wait,
it's recycled again because you don't have anything new to give, and people don't seem to realize that. And I love the fact that they're finally like, this is going to be our campaign slogan, never going back again. And I love that. But I do want to say, like, the cool thing about Tim Walz is he is not curated,
right?
Where I feel like JD Vance is curated,
but not even well.
But like, I also want somebody to go to him and be like, "Are you wearing makeup?" Because
his
that's
eyeliner,
gender affirming care.
Yeah. Also, no. It's like, hey, you're doing drag, bitch.
Exactly.
Oh, that's like the Matt. What's his name?
Guys,
Matt Gaetz. He looks so different.
Oh my god, that's the eyebrows, the Gaussian blur.
His glow up looks good.
No, it doesn't. He looks like he's
Can you please have the fan blow up?
The allegations of him being a sexual predator with a minor with that face doesn't help him.
And everything, he didn't have anything done. Oh, girl, really?
This picture,
that is like,
Mama, no.
He had an eyebrow lift, Botox, and nobody told him, don't do this right before.
Yeah.
Right, because people are like, no, it's just the angle.
Girl, no.
I just love it. Housewives on their first season versus the 5th.
Yeah. Or like Drag Race on their first season versus All Stars.
Oh my gosh.
So, and I'm loving the memes. And
I'm living for all of it.
It's interesting because like the internet, like people thought Kris Jenner worked hard. No, the internet works harder.
And it's just you can't keep. And the thing is, you can't keep up. Like there has been so much momentum, and like the hope. There's a hope again. Like there was a defeat. Like I will acknowledge and admit, like it wasn't good, and I was like, fuck. Like I was looking at where am I going to move to? Do like Barcelona? I was like, I can go to Spain. I was telling Nick, I'm going to see you in 4 years. Like it was like I was like legit like, oh my god. And now I'm like, I don't have to worry about that.
Well, and then the polls are showing that too. Like
she's ahead.
She's ahead. Some of the polls, she's ahead, and it's like, oh, this is great. I mean, it's still kind of close. So hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, we'll see an even farther.
That gap. Wow.
But you're forgetting. You're forgetting about RFK.
No, the fact that Kamala Harris, she was down, like she has regained like 15 points.
Now RFK has more chance of eroding Trump's
totally.
Like
I hope
before he could draw from both sides. Like who didn't want to vote for him?
How is he still in the race?
Okay,
he's independent.
He needs to go and get his vocal polyps figured out because the man cannot talk and it is ear shattering.
Well, and not only that, but like, okay, he's like that one friend who like needs to be in every picture or needs to be the center of all the attention.
Girl.
So like, I threw a dead bear in in Central Park one time. I was like, what?
He also said that he had a flesh-eating worm in his brain.
He
like,
does.
Girl,
he did.
Well, maybe it can burrow in further.
It died in his brain.
Well, maybe it can respawn and.
So his brain could not sustain a worm.
How can he be the president?
How can he sustain a country?
So I want to say one thing too. Like, if we look back at like social media stuff and that, like the when we go high. Or like go low, we go high.
Yeah.
I think back to this campaign, and I also kind of laugh a little bit because Tim Kaine looks a little bit like Walz.
Yes, he does.
But Tim Kaine was also very much like the Hillary Clinton. It was a little stuffy. They were trying to be fun and keep it above board, and it just never worked. And so it's nice to see.
It is working now.
It's nice to see that the Democrats have learned. And that this new ticket is a lot more relaxed, a lot more in touch with the people. I love it.
I think like it's going to be interesting because like even like Taylor Swift hasn't come out and like endorsed anyone yet, but like there's a whole group of like Swifties for Harris.
She didn't have to because JD Vance said cat people like what are you cat person? He attacked cat people, and it's like. You don't know how strong cat people are, girl. Hello,
childless cat
people. But it's like the girls are coming for you, bitch.
Right. And like and I'm waiting for like Chaperone and some of these other like.
So my prediction for this election is that a lot of Republican women or moderate women, undecided women, will kind of come over to the Democrat side.
the right side.
Well, and because I was reading an article today that like there are a lot of people who were hurt by what Trump said at the Black journalist meeting, and so a lot of them were like they didn't know who to vote for. Even when Kamala came into it, there were even women and especially women of color were like, I still was undecided if I was going to vote for her. I'm not going to vote for her just because she's a woman or she's black or whatever. But then when he said what he said, and it was like those kind of microaggressions and macroaggressions.
But they've been there this whole time.
Right. And I'm like, that's exactly it. But they weren't going to vote either way. They weren't going to vote for Trump. They weren't going to vote for Biden or Kamala. But him saying stuff like that made them, it triggered them and brought them back to what they've always had to go through their entire life.
Correct.
So it pushed some people to go, so now I'm voting for her.
And the best part with Trump is you don't have to do anything because he does that all on his own. You just have to let him talk.
And it was because they're planning on getting back reproductive rights.
Yeah.
As much as they could possibly get.
Yeah.
So like, there was a tweet or something or an Instagram, and it was like somebody was at a grocery store and they heard the woman behind them, and she said, "I'm not voting for Kamala Harris because she's a woman. I'm voting for her because I am a woman."
Huh.
Ooh. And I was like, "Oh, girl, yes, come on." But like, I do want to see how this is going to play out because right now we're riding high.
They got 3 months to stay.
3 months.
And this election is like legitimately for your rights. Like you got to fight for your rights, not to party.
You're like the Beastie Boys,
not to party, but to fucking live in America.
I mean, it's also fighting for your right to party.
Yeah. For Democratic Party.
But no, just a party, like as you want to, as who you are.
Yeah, like because there is no going back.
And I'm going to give everybody a tip here. If you are registered to vote, check your registration.
Yeah, Nick Stone.
Because there have been, I think we're okay here in the state of California, but in other states where you're a battleground state or
in Georgia,
predominantly a Republican state, there have been instances of them throwing out voting registrations. People, I know that in Texas, Elon Musk started a website for voter registration, and it's not real.
That's the same thing with Georgia's voter registration, where it basically fills in your information, and there's a footnote that says you have to print this and mail it.
Correct. And people are not seeing that.
No.
And they thought they registered, so they won't know.
No.
So check your registration and your voting status, please.
Yes.
It is so important, especially now.
Especially if you live in a state that does mail-in ballots.
Right.
All you need is 5%. 5% of those undecided or non-committed voters to come over.
If you are undecided,
come have lunch.
5%
come on.
means 10%.
I'm like, she may even promise you the Paris pole vaulter might show his penis. I don't know.
No, Kamala Harris is legitimately giving you your rights back because the Republican Party is wanting to strip it away, and they just want to make it great for rich white men. That's it.
Did you see
did she eat?
Oh, she ate. They both ate.
Oh,
they
no.
Both
ate. They devoured.
And he went to the fair with his daughter, so he definitely ate.
I love that. Okay, can I just say, I love the fact that all these people are going back through and pulling out all this great stuff that he's done and funny things that he's done.
And they didn't have to manufacture it.
No,
that's what I mean.
Exists.
When I say that he's not curated,
he is wholesome as fuck.
That's what I mean. It's
so
that was already there. It wasn't. He didn't do it for this particular.
There is no video of Trump being nice to his children.
Right.
Well, he doesn't like his children or his wife.
And I think I read somewhere that he's already, Tim Walz has said he has no interest in being president.
Yeah.
But he wants to do what he can for his country.
Yeah.
And this is how he feels he can. And the funny thing is he never thought he was going to be in government.
Okay.
But his kids that he was teaching
told him to
kind of basically who inspired him to become to go into politics because they thought that he was so great and he had such a fantastic message that he should do that.
I mean, then he was governor. How long was he the governor of Minnesota?
He still is the governor.
He still is the governor.
But how was it?
I think this is his
2017. It's his second term.
Oh, his second term. Yeah, and he did 6
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah,
in
it's been a while.
Congress.
So he's done great.
Okay, so here's another little story about Tim Walz that I found.
Okay.
So when he was in Congress, there was a giant group chat amongst the Democrats.
Oh my God.
And I guess they kind of miss him still because when he became governor, he deleted that text chain and got rid of it. The reason why is because when you become governor, your phone records can be become public.
Like subpoenaed, yeah.
They can be subpoenaed and become public.
Wait, is only as a governor or like any elected official?
I'm not sure, but I was like, that is straight up. I am not a snitch, bitch. Like that is straight up. That is like what he was down to say. So like he's like Tim Walz.
Wait,
is
so was
straight.
it before his like inauguration or whatever? He's like, boop, delete.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, look, here are my phone records, everybody. Look, there's no one that texts me.
So I had a question for y'all. Do you have a Tim Walz teacher? Like for me, it was Mr. Stansberry, 8th grade chemistry, who also ran the Gay Straight Alliance in Laramie, Wyoming. And just like the kind of teacher, I was like, who would be my Tim Walz teacher that would be in like the VP? And it's like, oh yeah, it was Mr. Stansberry, 8th grade chemistry.
For me, like Mrs. Turner, who's the librarian, was great, but like for me as like formative gay man, it was like it was Mr. Klein. And he spelled his first name. It was Michael, and he spelled it Mikel.
Oh, Mikel.
Yeah, and I love that. But also, he was totally like my type too, because he was built
Burly
and
man.
everything, and he knew I was having trouble at home, and he knew I was like trying to come to terms with who I was,
right?
And so he like. He wasn't gay. He was straight, but he was trying to help me get through school and get through my life and stuff. But I remember this one time we were hanging out and he was like, "I just got to rush home and change real quick. Is that okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine. Whatever." I was like, So I'm sitting in the living room and he walks by in a towel. Without a shirt, and I'm like,
wait, this sounds like a...
What, is this a why were you in his home?
No. It was just because I was like, because we were out like just hanging out like because he was trying to be nice to me. This is like before people started like like coming after teachers and saying inappropriate things and stuff. And it's just like he was just really trying to like reach
genuine,
out to someone and keep them from like harming themselves.
Yeah,
Michael
and
was your Mr. Walz.
Awesome. So like
with towels.
But also I was like, holy,
okay.
because he didn't have a shirt on, and I was like,
Okay.
Cool.
I really like that body type. It was like muscular, but not like cut, and I was like, okay.
Like he could wrestle
Mr.
you.
Cromie, our chorus teacher.
Mr. Cromie was your Mr. Walz.
Yeah.
I don't have one.
You don't have a teacher that was like your,
I
like,
was afraid
person?
of all of my male teachers
Doesn't have to be male.
because I was like intimidated. I think it may have been my English. It's always the English teacher.
That or the art teacher.
Yeah, Mrs. Stevenson, who is like, I guess she follows me on Instagram and is my Facebook friend. But like, I think she was probably mine because she was like very just like no judgment and was always very encouraging, and she like just didn't care, And I think I actually remember we did. It was like social inequities or something, and I did the Matthew Shepard story, and I was so nervous because I was like, oh my god, I'm going to talk about like a gay person that was murdered, and I like was standing up there, and then she's like, that was really brave, Joe. I'm really proud of you to like talk that story.
She knew.
Absolutely, she knew.
She knew.
But like, I think that as kids, like LGBTQIA plus kids, like having those people in your formative years is like a necessity to feel seen when you don't know that you need to feel seen. You know what I mean?
Well, and it'd be
Walz.
nice because
He's gonna do that.
We'll have somebody in the White House who understands how important those things are, so they will fight for.
Him
And
as
it's the
VP,
future. It's
he's
the
gonna
fucking
have like the
future.
like the most fun. He's gonna be like the teacher Walz as VP. Like he's gonna have fun get-togethers with all
He
the
is
students.
going to pass laws and also show you how to drive a stick.
Right. And if we're lucky,
and fix a bad like light the light.
if we're lucky, we can get the House of Representatives and the Senate and be all Democratic control. And I think if we get that, they're not playing around and they will finally use their power for good.
I just want the Supreme Court to
well, there's reform, and the Biden announced some like Supreme Court thing, which will never happen. But if they can get Senate and Congress, they can pass a law where they basically dictate what the Supreme Court does.
Well, term limit. It's
Term
not,
limits.
It's not
They can't
dictating
dictate.
what they do, but it's
We still want checks and
preventing people
balances.
from ingraining themselves.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Trump's campaign just now, I guess, is claiming that
breaking
Tim
news.
Walz will unleash hell on earth.
Yes, he
as
will.
Vice President.
You know what's so funny is
what?
This photo
With
too.
kindness?
That's all I got. That's all I
With
got.
puppies?
somebody had that. It's like somebody had that. Like Republicans, Tim Walz will unleash hell on earth, and then there's a picture of like Tim Walz, and he's just him holding a prize pig at the Minnesota State Fair, and it's like, oh my god,
Oh my god.
they're
Yeah,
taking
this one.
Yeah,
It's like-
that picture.
He's
Like,
gonna-
stop it.
This guy's gonna unleash hell.
That's the
on
picture they used?
Yeah, well, no. That somebody did that. They
Replying.
replying.
Oh my
replying.
God.
And it's just like the way that they're taking down whatever the Republicans say and making it into a joke
Yes.
or whatever. It like,
But
not
then
even-
it spreads, and
not
that's the
even
thing,
like
is it?
not
Yeah.
even Harrison Walz. It's just like
Other
people on
people.
the internet are just like they want to be protective now.
Yes.
Which is another thing that I love. They want to take ownership of Harrison Walz, and they want to like protect them a little bit. So they're doing stuff to like kind of make fun and
Yeah.
like take the sting out of some of the misinformation.
Well, but then they're
and
keeping them relevant.
Right.
They're like, every time something new comes out, they slap down Trump, and then they reinvigorate, and then just pop them back up into the
So
spotlight.
the last thing I want to talk about is like SNL is going to be so fire
Cannot
this next
wait.
season.
With,
Maya Rudolph will be in every fucking
100%.
episode, and she will get paid so much money. And then if Steve Martin could come in and do
He should
Tim
do it.
Walz, that would be amazing.
Steve Martin.
You know
they
Steve
do
Martin.
look similar.
They do. He's right there. There's a picture of him right there. Yeah,
They're already.
Oh my god, stop it. They are twins.
that is it right there. That's the
Well, because
ticket.
he's in SNL. He's Legacy SNL, right?
Yeah.
Steve Martin?
So
I would watch that.
I also love Tim Walz because that people are saying about it, he's being older. He looks older. He's like, hey, if you taught for 20 years, you would have less hair on your head too. Like,
But no, he's not old.
I know he's only 60.
He is 20 years younger than Donald Trump.
okay, if Donald Trump is elected president, he will literally be the oldest elected president.
He is
ever.
right now the oldest running person.
But I do love the fact that all of his old man senile attacks are now
Coming
For
on
him.
down.
Yeah, and he's like stumbling over his speech
But-
too. It's the best.
But it's also he's still like attacking Biden. I'm like, Biden is not
not.
your opponent.
Well, that's
anymore.
like when he said like Obama, and it's like, girl,
He lives in the past.
but that
And-
was like a long time
Yeah.
ago.
So anyway, so please
Vote.
before we wrap up, we just need you to vote. Check your voter registration.
Yes.
Find out exactly when you're supposed to vote.
Correct.
If you get a mail-in ballot, send that in, please.
If you moved, correct your address.
Correct. Yes.
That's
If
mine.
you moved,
Yeah,
hopefully you corrected
Nick
your
Stone.
address. It is so important. Please, do your part and be a part of history.
Absolutely.
So
Harris-tory.
Harris-tory. Yes. I want seriously, I want Tim Walz to go to a rally, and all I want them to play is "From the Window to the Walls" when he comes out. Anyway, everyone have a great week. Happy season 5. Woo!
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to These Unprecedented Gays. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and join us next time as we continue exploring the ever-changing landscape of queer life. Until then, stay proud, stay fierce, and stay unprecedented.